Welcome to Talk Tuesday, you guys, a series that's dedicated to empowering youth and families. This podcast is brought to you by Steps Foundation, where advocacy meets education for the betterment of young minds. Each month, we explore powerful and timely topics that spark meaningful conversations, encouraging growth and strengthening the bonds between teens and the people who support them the most. I am Abigail Ellis, your host and executive director at Steps Foundation, Inc. This September, we're diving into a topic that shapes how we connect, communicate, and cope with the world around us: emotional intelligence and mental strength. Emotional intelligence isn't just about feelings, it's about understanding ourselves, navigating relationships, managing stress, and making thoughtful choices, even when things get tough. These skills are just as important as academics or talent. And the good news is they can be learned and strengthened over time. This month, we'll continue to unpack what emotional intelligence means, how to stay calm under pressure, bounce back from tough moments, and express emotions in ways that builds connection, not conflict. Whether you're a teen working through big feelings, a parent looking to support your student better, or simply someone who wants to grow, this month is for you. Let's grow stronger together. So over to you, Ilani, to start us off with questions.
Hi everyone. So my first question is, um, why do some people shut down when they are upset? I think because they're too angry and maybe they don't realize what they're doing. They need some time.
No,
Mhm.
I think that's very valid. I think people oftentimes shut down because sometimes we need that space, right? When you get angry, so for me, when I'm upset, I'm a crier. I gotta cry it out first because if I go off the feeling, like the initial feeling, it is mostly anger. And I know, like, okay, I'm gonna say something that I really don't mean. But once it comes out, you can't take it back, right? So I think sometimes people shut down in order to process. But then I guess it's kind of, what does that shutting down really look like? And what are we doing in that moment that matters? So in the shutdown, are you processing your feelings? Are you thinking about how to calm yourself? Are you just trying to find a way to like get through the moment and then addressing it later? Or are you shutting down and ignoring it in hopes that it's just gonna go away? So I think it kind of depends in the moment, like what we plan to, like how we process and what we do after, that kind of makes a difference. But I agree with you, Elani. I think the shutdown is often just people's way of processing those feelings.
Yeah. I actually, I met someone when he was very mad. He would leave it. I need space. And he would literally don't talk or anything. And then when he came back, he was more calm and then he would talk. But when he was upset, he needed
Yeah,
space.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's real. That's real. And how did you feel about allowing him that space? Like, did it used to make you upset that he was asking for space, and you kind of didn't see the point? Like, what did
Um,
you feel about the space?
he always does that. He's mad. I need space. So I think because we don't want that person to react or say something that we don't want to hear. So maybe they do that so we don't get hurt. And I think that's very good, but they're hurt. They're shut down anyway.
Yeah,
Even though
yeah,
they're upset, they're sad. Like, yeah. But I think when people are upset, I think we should leave them space so they can calm down and then you guys can talk about it later on.
I
Good.
agree. I agree. I agree with you 100%. I think people, I think for some people it's hard to respect the space
Yeah.
because when you know that someone is mad, as people, our initial reaction is, how do we fix it for them? How do we make them feel better? Like how do we ease the pain? And oftentimes we end up overcrowding while they're trying to decompress, which makes them angrier.
Then there's two type of people. One when they're mad, give me space, and the other one is no. let's fix it now. Like
Yeah,
we got
yeah,
to talk now.
yeah.
So yeah.
Which doesn't help either because the person who needs the space to process doesn't want to talk right now. And then you have a person who's trying to force them to talk when they're not ready to talk. I
Yeah.
think this is where like and I love that you said it's two type of people, and it's true. We have to learn how to look at another person and respect where they are in that moment and allow them the space. I think it's super helpful because people need the space sometimes. They definitely need the space. I love that. That was a great question. That was a great one to start us off with.
Okay. Oh, another question? Okay.
Well, unless Lamar got something he want to add to that, because
I was
Lamar,
Oh
waiting.
yeah. Y'all
she
know
said,
I was waiting.
where your camera at? Look at how he trying to do us. There we go. Oh, you muted.
Oh, okay, I'm back.
There you go.
So
Lift your screen up a little bit.
no, I just need to because the camera's at the bottom of this. So
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
Mm. Yeah.
What's your response? Yeah.
That shutdown depends on how they shut down. Like you said, sometimes that space, but other times they just walk away and not saying to nobody. Just leave the situation. Um, Depending on that situation, that can either be helpful or in certain, I'd say very specific situations, it could be harmful to it, but not really, not in most scenarios. And some in 90% of scenarios, like yeah, just leave him alone, he'll come back later. They'll come back later. And we can address it while we have that space to just process it, right? But other times the shutdown is they just leave mentally. Not even they leave the room. They just stand there silent. And I feel like for a lot of the situations, it doesn't actually, I can't even say it doesn't help. It helps, but not as effective because you just say, oh, why is he just standing here? What's happening? It causes a lot of confusion. And like you said, it's the overcrowdedness. People are trying to get them back, even though they're just like standing there. They're trying to process it.
I think it's the awkward silence. I think that's the
Exactly.
awkward silence is what
And the
makes people
tension.
feel so
Yeah.
uncomfortable. Yeah.
And the tension. So it kind of carries that, and that shutdown kind of just brings an awkwardness to the situation that doesn't help the situation. It could possibly make it worse. So, but
Yeah,
the shutdown is definitely necessary.
I agree. I think it's all about processing. I love it.
Um, how do cultural backgrounds affect how emotions are expressed?
Oh, let Lamar already got the hands up and
Oh,
ready.
okay. Cultural background that covers a lot of area, and I'm gonna tell you why. Different cultures have different values, and thus they react to different things differently. Like depending on culture, they see different things as respect and disrespect. So one thing that can be considered respectful in one culture can be considered as disrespectful and offensive in another culture. So something you may think is fine, another person finds incredibly offensive, and they're gonna get on you about it. But you're just gonna be confused, like this is normal for me. Why are you so mad? So I feel like there needs to be a discussion for that so that the boundaries are set and we understand, okay, you find this, you feel this way about this because of your culture. Can we find a middle ground for this? And can we try to fix the problems and find a solution? Because for a lot of things, it's a lot of culture. And the culture makes different things offensive and not offensive, and it's fine. but I feel like the middle ground needs to be met for things to happen.
I'm gonna jump in on that because I love that you brought that up, Lamar. I think culture definitely plays a role. When we think about like in some cultures, right, families can be extremely loud. And some people take loudness as aggression. When if there is no aggression in it, it's just my culture speaks loudly. Like we are loud people.
That's
We're
just
loud
regular
when we
families.
happy. We loud when we sad. We loud when we mad. We just loud. Um, and I think for some people who don't understand others' cultures, it gets misconstrued. But I think everything is a teachable moment, right? And there are times when we have to take a moment to understand what someone is coming from, understanding other people's cultures and how they react. That's kind of like in some cultures, looking a person in their eye is a sign of disrespect. So it's like when you are, especially students who come from cultures like that, when they're in school and a teacher is talking to them and the student won't look them in the eye, the teacher's upset because the student's not looking them in the eye. And they're like, look at me. But the student may not look. And especially if they know that the teacher is upset, because again, in some cultures, looking a person in their eye is seen as disrespect. They're listening, they're not looking. I think we have to do our part in being culturally aware and asking questions about things that we don't understand. And I think that's important to people who are trying to navigate emotion because in a Black household, growing up, I know we kind of did this on in our focus group last week. We had this discussion about culture, how we grew up, and what that looks like when trying to show our kids how to have better mental health. In our household, it was more of be seen and not heard, don't respond. And when grown people are talking, like stay over there, mind your business, and we better not hear you. I see Ilani nodding, like, yup. And so you'll see that this is common across multiple cultures. But to people who that's not their culture, would not understand why you kind of just chilling over in the corner and you quiet and not responding when adults are talking, right? It is different, but we have to take the time to kind of educate ourselves, ask questions, and understand why some are doing the things that they're doing because everybody cannot openly express their emotion because of their culture. So it's a learning process. And we have to be able to help people to navigate that learning process. I think that's a great question.
Yeah, I was born like Hispanic house, so it was the belt or the shoes. Like don't
The
be
chancla.
disrespectful. Don't be disrespectful.
Uh-oh.
Like like don't talk back.
Yeah. Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so I grew up like that, and right now my sister is married to a Jamaican guy. She's Puerto Rican and he's Jamaican, and they have a daughter right now, a baby. She was born like yesterday, and
Oh,
yeah,
congratulations.
thank you. And as right there, you can see it's gonna be different, like like
Yes.
emotions and backgrounds, like
Yes.
cultural. So like maybe he's gonna be like strict and like maybe she's gonna be like strict too, because Puerto Ricans are like strict too. I don't know how he is, but they're gonna be like different emotions with her for me. Like that's what I think, because the different cultures they have.
Yes. And I
Mm.
honestly I think mixing cultures is awesome because then you get to see something new, right? You get to create what you want that to be like for your family. Um and look, who knows? Probably because now both of them understand, right, the strict background. And I feel like this is something that changes generationally. Each generation tries to do something different from the last generation based on how they were raised. You see the things that you didn't like or the things that you don't desire to have in your family, and you try to make the change. So they may not end up being, those strict parents. They may end up being the very lenient parent.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll be like, I'm not gonna do the same thing to my kids like my parents did. But in reality, we are like 2025 and the world's not okay. And we're gonna be reacting the same way like our parents are. So
Just you'll be a little bit more aware, right? So I
yeah.
mean, it's one of those things to me, especially like in one of the conversations that we had in our focus group talk, seeing how people back then, right, mental health was not even a word. Nobody wanted to talk about mental health at
It
all.
was non-existent back then.
So it is not that it was non-existent. It was just if you said that you had a mental problem, you are seen as crazy. Like you're crazy.
Like it
And
was
so
like ignored for a lot of people. So it was
right. So
a big thing
so
at
this
all.
is where like those stigmas start to come up, like words like crazy, or you get some other words thrown in there too. I feel like by the time we now make it to 2025 and we're looking at the multiple generations that were behind, now mental health is normal to say. And people are understanding that it's okay to not be okay, but you're still battling cultural norms versus today's society norms.
So
And it's
now we have to adapt and we have to
right, it's
try to
about
change
adapting.
things. But now
Yes.
it's gonna be difficult because certain
Yeah.
cultures are like in a set way and it's contrasting what is adapting in terms of societal norms. So now
Yeah.
we got to find the middle ground between that. And how can we not only stay safe and keep our health intact, our mental health intact, but how can we also at least honor our religion and our actual background and where we came from?
Correct. Correct. And we brought up even religion in that, right? So we know that a lot of people have Christian beliefs. Well, 20 years ago, right? You go to the church and you say, I'm having a mental problem. They laying hands on you because they're about to pray the demon out of you because that's a demon. That's a devil. Right?
They're gonna say, "Be gone, demon." They're gonna be exercising you. They're gonna be putting you in the They're gonna be baptizing you in the baptism church.
Right. But it's true. So this is where then people started not wanting to say that they were having mental health issues at church because now you want to put hands on me, you're gonna tell me I'm crazy, you're gonna try to exorcise the demon, but I'm really over here struggling. I'm just trying to live life and live a normal life. But now it's a little bit more accepted. And now the preachers are understanding that counseling needs to take place. Now we have Christian counselors where they can understand, like, okay, we can still talk about your mental health and still be there for your beliefs at the same time, right? So again, the world is progressing, things are changing, and I feel like as we continue to get older, even our children will do things a little bit differently from how we're doing it. I think kids now are more self-aware of emotions than we were 20 years ago.
And that is straight up facts because now society and technology has progressed in a way where not only social and emotional health has become a lot more accepted and a lot more open. We could be a lot more open about it, but it's not. It's become normal to be able to say, "Okay, I need help. Where can I find help? Who can
Right.
I go to? Do you know anyone I can go to help me?" And that's a lot more normal now. 20 years
Yes.
ago, no, no, you couldn't say that
Mhm.
without getting labeled. Now you're just like, yeah, okay, that's fine. Here you go. Because it's a lot more accepted to get the help you need now.
Correct. Correct. And I think even by the time your generation of kids comes along, Lamar, I mean, it'll be even more accepted because again, people are building so many things around mental health and people being able to express their emotions openly and freely that even by the time now you have kids, they'll be a little bit more expressive on what they feel, how they feel it, and understanding like how to control those big feelings and emotions. We didn't really have that. So I love that. Those are great questions, my girl.
I'm glad that we found a way to help people who are struggling with their mental health, because I think back then people weren't good, because the story I've heard, like people like serial killers, I don't know, but I'm glad that we have
Yeah.
that type of system right now in here. But
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
Me too, girl. Me too.
you just had to find the help, because if you don't find it, you're gonna be struggling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. How can someone tell the difference between a healthy and unhealthy expression of emotion?
Oh, I like that. Oh,
That's a
Lamar said
good
he
one.
got that.
That's a good one. See, the difference between unhealthy and healthy is how it affects you later on. Is this helping you long term? Or is it harming you long term? It doesn't even have to be like years down the line. It could be a couple days, but it could be a couple hours. But still, that's it depends on how it affects you later. Because healthy habits keep you on the right track. Unhealthy habits is gonna harm you more and more down the line the more you do it. Like, I'm not gonna like if you start smoking when you get stressed, it's gonna ultimately it's gonna harm you down the line because the nicotine can cause the cancer. But let's say when you get stressed, you go outside and deep breathe. You're not doing anything, you're just breathing. So, but it also calms you down for that moment where you have all those big emotions. So it helps you long term instead of you doing things that ultimately can cause you, your mental health, and the rest of your health for everyone else because smoking actually harms everyone down the line. Like, like smoke from smoking doesn't just go up, it goes in everyone else's lungs. So now you have a chance of passing down your lung cancer to somebody else. And I don't think that's a good thing. So it's not only harming you, it's harming others down the line. So
Love that.
the healthy habit helps you and helps others down the line. And it also sets a good example for others to follow.
Oh, Lamar. Now, look, you taking the whole dollar tonight.
I'm gonna need that dollar. Thank you.
I love that. And you know, I couldn't say it any better because I think Lamar really hit it. I feel like when we think about like the unhealthy, and I love that Lamar said, think about how it affects you long term. I think oftentimes because some of our kids haven't been taught how to deal with emotions, a lot of times they end up going the unhealthy route. And it's mainly, and it's not even like, so I'm gonna back away from the smoking because see the smoking is real because even outside of nicotine like cigarettes, right? Our kids are vaping. And so the vaping is also a thing that causes long-term effect. And it's gonna catch up with you way before the cigarettes catch up with you.
It's the same problem.
It is the same problem. Um, but even when we think about that, right? Our kids, when they get upset, they're lashing out. And the lashing out is typically like a violent lash out. So whether it's they're throwing things around a room or they're taking things and they're smashing it, or now that they feel the need to get into physical fights because they're angry and don't know how to deal with those emotions. That's unhealthy because it makes a long-term effect. That effect, you're gonna get expelled from school. You're gonna get suspended from school. Like all of these things add up. And then the other piece of that is doing it out in public. Now you're at risk of getting arrested, and now you're in the juvenile detention center. So those are some of the effects. Now, then when we think about like healthy ways of doing it, some of our students haven't been taught the healthy way to know that it's a healthy way. And I think that's where our disconnect is. But I also feel like that's where the schools have kind of tried to jump in by doing social emotional learning. But then that came after COVID, right? And so social emotional learning help with understanding coping skills. So understanding deep breathing, understanding you can go take a walk. If you want to smash things, that's cool, but don't do it in the classroom. You know what I mean? Um, if that's something like you want to go home and you want to punch the pillows, go home and punch the pillows. You know, there
These
are
rooms
ways
exist for a
of
reason.
right. There's ways for you to let your anger out. There's ways for you to let your disappointment out without you getting in trouble for it. And I think this is where coping skills need to be taught more for our students to be able to understand how, but not just our students, but parents also need to understand those coping skills so that they can help their kids understand how to express it in a better way so that they're not lashing out and they're ready to like run and fight somebody at the drop of a dime because they don't know what to do with those pent up emotions.
I also agree with that. I would say, like, to add on to that, like what you and Lamar were saying, is like also thinking like, what is my objective with doing this? Like going back to like the shutting down. Sometimes shutting down can be an unhealthy thing to do because you don't have the end goal of why am I shutting down? Am I going to come back to this? Some kids, I've realized that they shut down and they be quiet and they let it bottle up until it gets violent. So I think
Yeah.
it's important for them to think like, okay, am I going to come back to this and how am I going to come back to this in a healthy way? Just having that self-awareness and having that like I look at it like the angel on your shoulder, like, okay, what are you going to do? What's your next step? Is that the right choice? Is like smashing things the right choice? Is yelling the right choice or crashing out, quote unquote? Is that the right choice to make or your next move? Are you thinking about the consequences with your actions next?
Yes. 100%. 100%. I agree, Anastasia. Ilana giving us all the good ones tonight. We see you, girls.
Yeah. I think some of the kids get the healthy habit from the parents and the house. Sometimes the parents smoke and then they think, oh, that's good, like that's okay, I can do it, like nothing's gonna happen to me. And sometimes they get it from the parents. Sometimes they get it from their friends, smoking, the bad, how you say it, like influence. Sometimes
Yes.
they're not like how do like I say it? Oh my gosh. They're not okay. People like don't tell them what is the right thing, what is the wrong thing. They're not
Correct.
educated. And then that's why they take them healthy habits instead of the
Yes.
healthy
Unhealthy
ones.
environments and
Yes.
bad environments. I absolutely agree with that because
Now when you
environmental
come,
things.
yeah, when you come from a like good like parents that don't smoke, don't drink, I don't know, you create like healthy habits because you know what is right and wrong because they educated you. Now, if you come from a broken house where you're not educated, your parent is drunk, your mother is depressed, you're gonna create unhealthy habits. But I feel
Yeah.
like people they struggle with that a lot and they don't make a change. And that's really like very sad.
Absolutely.
That's very sad because
Absolutely.
they can end up like drug addicts,
Mhm.
homeless, stuff like that.
And I think this goes back to like what Anastasia was bringing up, right? Even with the shutdown, like what is the end goal? And I know a lot of times, especially our teams, when thinking about that feeling, they're not thinking about what happens next or like they're not doing that process, right? Of saying, what is my end goal? I'm mad and I'm mad now. My goal right now, smash something. My goal right now, I'm crashing out. That like that they don't see past the issue. And the line, like I 100% agree when we think about like the environment that some of our parents and our kids are in. Environmental things do help create unhealthy habits. People who become drug addicted, right? It's a temporary fix to a problem. I'm hurting, I'm mad, I'm angry. This helped me now. They're not looking at what the long-term effect of it can be. And sometimes it started off as I just tried it once. And now I can't put it down because of how I felt when I had it. And it don't matter what household they came from, honestly, because it could be even a good household where they got both parents who don't drink, don't smoke, but they had one bad day at school and a friend was like, I got this. You should try it. It's going to make you feel better. And now that was the open door for them for a temporary fix to a problem. So I think, again, I feel like the communication, the education, the understanding why you feel the things that you feel, what can you do with those really big feelings when you have them, is so needed and so necessary for our students to be able to express themselves more and express themselves better. Not just for themselves, but for other people to know how to help them.
Yeah, I think like even people coming from like good parents or like whatever, like there's a way they're gonna do something like unhealthy, like
Yeah.
smoking with a friend, like here, try
Yeah.
it, you're gonna be okay. And then
You're gonna look so cool.
they get addicted to it. And then
Yep.
they
And
hide it
then
from
it's
their
the peer
parents and they're
pressuring.
smoking in the room and their
Yep.
parents never know.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
So it all depends on the person, I think, on how they take it and how they learn from it. But
Yep. I agree.
yeah. What do you do if someone reacts badly when you open up?
Lamar. Come on, Lamar.
Look, I've seen this happen in real time to one of my friends. I told him, disconnect. You can't trust that person. If they react badly, if they can't handle what you've been through, disconnect. Clearly they didn't deserve to know anyway. Look, if you're gonna surround yourself with people or surround yourself with people that understand that are here to support you and not here just because. No, they're here with a purpose. And may let it be, oh yeah, you're my friend. I see you as like a brother or a sister. I'm here to support you. Like you are my person. Or yeah, I got you because we've known each other for X amount of time and I can trust you with this. You need to be with people that you can trust and people that understand. Because if they can't understand, clearly you didn't have to be with them in the first place. You didn't need to be with them. You didn't need to hang around them. They didn't need to be around you. So if they can't understand you and they're not there for you, what's the point in being with them? If they can't understand you for who you are and what you've been through and what made you get here in the first place.
Hold on. I think Lamar just threw the gold bar in the plate. Hold on. Let me change the photo real quick. Boom, the gold bar. I agree. I think sometimes it's hard, right? When you're going through something and you're telling a friend and they shut you down in that moment, this is really your time to rethink your friendship. Um, I often ask students like, what do you consider a friend? And kind of allow that to be the starter thing. Because I think that too, right? Growing up, I can't ever remember being taught a lesson on friendship. Can you?
Just straight examples. See, now the thing that I can say that I'm lucky to have been through, I've had mostly really good friends throughout my throughout all my years.
You know what? You and all your years.
I mean, but like seriously though, like the only time I can even say is fifth grade, and that was just a bad year in general.
Mhm.
So
I look at the friendship thing kind of like I do the self-love thing, right? Growing up, nobody taught you about self-love. Lamar,
it's a learning experience.
you're a little different because I teach you those things. But thinking about like us, right? Growing up, nobody talked about self-love, nobody talked about self-compassion, nobody really talked about what a true friendship is and what to expect from a friend. Kind of like nobody talked about boundaries and boundary setting. And I think all of these things are key in when you go to confide in a person, understanding boundaries. What is your boundary when you have a friend? Do your friends know your boundaries? If you're a person who you feel like when you're expressing yourself, you really need somebody to listen and not tell you what to do, does your friend know that? And if they do know that, are they respecting that? If you're talking to your friend about a really hard thing, because we know big feelings are hard to talk about, and they shut you down, they don't want to hear what you got to say, you still stuck with that really big feeling on top of now you're probably mad because your friend won't let you get it out, right? So now you got another big feeling on top of the big feeling that you already had. So now we talk about that soda bottle that's being shaken up. You couldn't express it the way that you wanted to express it. Now you have another big feeling on top of the feeling that you already had. Where do you go next? Because what if that's the only outlet that you have? Yeah.
Look, and this is why I'm gonna go back to the entire month of August and the beginning of September because we said, I should say, you said that sometimes all you need to do, all the help you need to give is just let them get it out. All you need to do is hear them. That's it. Just let them say what they want to hear and hear them for what they're trying to say. That's all you have to do.
But we know realistically, right?
Realistically,
Every person is
is
not
it
that
not like that?
person. Right. And there are some
Everybody's
people
like
who
that, but
they don't want to hear your problem. And then there's the friends who make it about them. And I know y'all know about some of them friends, right? The friend that when you go and you tell them your problems, they gotta top your problem with their problem because my problem is bigger than yours. Or your problem is just not big enough for us to discuss it. You can figure it out on your own. So we don't need to talk about it.
the
There's those things
lies.
too.
It's the lies.
But I love when you said though, this is where you gotta realize when to walk away from that friendship. And sometimes and again, I'll put it like this: walking away from the friendship don't mean you gotta shut the friendship all the way down, unless there's other things that make you feel like you should. That just means that is not the friend for you to confide your big feelings in. But maybe they're a good friend in a different area. I look at everything with a purpose, right? If they're your friend, every friend serves a purpose. What is their purpose for you? What is your purpose for them? And I know that's a lot to think on. But it's to me, it's that like what is the purpose of your friendship? What are the boundaries that are set? Do you both understand each other's boundaries or were they never expressed? And I think that will tell you a lot about whether a friend is the friend for you to share your heart feelings with. I see Ilani like, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. When like someone reacts badly, you just like want to give them space because maybe they're stressed about the situation or mad about it. So give them space. But if they like respect you, like you have to like think twice about that relationship you have with them because you
Right.
don't want to keep having like the respect, like the respect or
Yeah.
the toxic, I don't know, with
Yeah.
them. So your feelings matter because they're your feelings.
Yep.
If they don't care, they will never care. you have to move on.
That part.
Because
That part.
there's no point talking about your feelings when a person doesn't really care. They only care about them feeling. So just try to talk about it with somebody else, like family member, therapy, or another friend that actually matters. Like they like care for you, not that person.
I agree. I agree.
But it
You
all
always-
depends. If they're mad, maybe they need space. But if they take it like very like bad, like they don't talk to you for weeks, you have to think twice about that friendship or relationship you have with that person.
Yes. 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 Yes.
And now I'm all gonna say is I'm gonna ask this question again. If that friend isn't there for you, why are you there in the first place? That's the question I want people to go home with after this. If they're not there for you, why are you there? Answer
That's
honestly.
real.
Answer honestly with yourself. You don't gotta lie to yourself. Because this is about you. This ain't about them, this is about you. Reflect on that whole thing. If they were there for you, and that means they care about you. If they really were there for you during the times and the hard times, they was there. That's a good friend. If they weren't there and they just didn't care, you shouldn't be there. Leave. They're not for you, bro.
Sometimes you have to be careful with the people because they can manipulate you. They be like, I'm sorry, and then they do it again. So you
They're
have to be
lying.
careful with those people, like fake friends. Yeah.
I love see, I'm glad you brought that up too, because yes, manipulation is real, right? They call that gaslighting. When someone is, you know, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean it, and then they'll turn it around and they'll make you feel like it was you, like you were overreacting because they didn't mean it that way. You just took it that way. um I love what you guys have said, because Lamar mentioned like your feeling is your feeling, right? And you and Ilani, you said like, hey, if that's how you're feeling, your feelings are valid. And all of those things are true. But it is so easy to be manipulated into feeling like you were overreacting because your friend took it so badly, but it was your feeling. Listen, I don't even gotta add nothing else to that, because you guys like literally hit all of that on the head. And I think those are all very important lessons. And Lamar, I love that in the piece I sit and reflect on it, because I feel like oftentimes we don't reflect enough on how we cultivate relationships. Yeah, I love that. Oh, that was deep. Okay, y'all. I see y'all.
Yeah, because sometimes you actually do need to get personal. Because when you get personal, that helps you in the long run. Not even in the long run. It helps you, period.
Yeah.
Like innocent, it helps you. And at the end of the day, you there for you, not them. This is your
That part.
life. This is your body. This is your feeling. If they're gonna manipulate you or they're gonna try to shut down your feeling and tell you it's invalid, they lying to you.
That part.
And
That
that's
part.
and what you do, what you choose to do with that is truly on you. If you're gonna stay there and allow them to do that, then that's really on you, because you got to sit and reflect on that. Do I feel good? Am I feeling like myself here? Is this person making me feel up, or they're making me feel down? That is the piece that's on you. If you can't get that piece, then you shouldn't be there. Like if
Agree.
you're making you feel a
Agree.
negative way about yourself, that's not a good thing. You need to either reflect on that whole thing and see if you can work it out. But if it's to a certain point, then shut it down. It's not worth it.
Come on, Lamar. Come on. Look at that.
No, because I'm a
Listen.
master on this. Like
Oh,
I
oh
know
gosh, not you a master
no
on it.
because
Listen,
I've seen this happen in real time to real people. I've helped people through this thing multiple times throughout the past like multiple years. I understand this. I
okay,
understand how it feels.
so look,
No,
I've held in multiple years, bro. You 13.
yeah. And I've been good with mental health since I was like 8 or 9. Thank you.
That is true. That is true.
You already have the license of a therapy. It's good.
Okay, okay. Look, can we just go and send you to college?
No.
You go ahead and start your internship.
Put me
No,
on
but
like 10th
I
grade, I
love
can do
it.
YPA.
Oh my gosh. No, I love it. I love it. This is great. I feel like that this is a great way to kind of end the month. Honestly, I think this has been an awesome Talk Tuesday, a very powerful topic, honestly. Especially as we think about like emotions, and emotions are never easy for people to talk about, but we dabbled in 4 weeks of emotions, y'all. 4 whole weeks of emotions. So let us close out. So, emotional intelligence and mental resilience are lifelong tools to help us connect with others, navigate stress, and make empowered choices. So, whether you're learning to manage your emotions or helping someone else do the same, remember growth doesn't happen all at once, it happens moment by moment, decision by decision. So, keep showing up, keep reflecting, and most importantly, keep leading with heart. Before we close, we got events that we need to talk about. Yes, yes, yes. Um, what we do have our a youth program ambassador information session coming up on September 25th. So if you are a high school student and you want to learn more about leadership and advocacy work, this is for you. We are accepting 10 students into our YPA program. Applications will close on September 30th, and our ambassadors will begin working in October. We got some great plans for you guys, some great things for you to do, some awesome initiatives for you to serve in. And we're actually thrilled to see what our ambassadors can do in the community, what changes they will be able to make. So definitely register for that information session. If you are a parent of a teen, you can register for that information session as well. On September 26th, we're doing our virtual team focus group for healing and community. So your voice truly does matter. Last week, we did our parent information session, and that information session was, well, not even an information session, that focus group was awesome. We got a lot of feedback from parents on things that they feel are challenges for students in the mental health space, but also possible solutions that they feel like these are the things that they don't see, things that are missing. Teens, it's your turn now. We want to hear from you guys. What are the things that you feel are missing on your mental health journey? And what are the things that you feel could help you that you don't see in your community? It's a great way for us to kind of figure out what where the gaps are and how we can create something to help you guys get to where you feel like you want to be. It really is about community, and this is how we're getting all that information in. Next up on September 27th, which is on Saturday, we're doing family fitness in the park. We are excited for family fitness in the park. So yes, grab your friends, grab your family, register online, come hang out with us at the park because we're doing a circuit of activities. And it doesn't matter. Look, it's okay if you didn't exercise in 5 years. It's all right, y'all. It's real moderate, real mild. We make it simple. I promise you. But it is all about building that family, bridging families together, and you guys being able to do something tangible as a family. Um, yes, we're gonna have ice pops and we're gonna have bottled waters for you guys. So definitely come out. We may have some snacks, who knows? But come hang out with us. We want to have fun with you. All of these events you can register on our website for at www.stepsfoundation.org/events. And don't forget, you can follow us on social media because you'll also see the same things on our social media pages where you can click and apply to get to register. So your emotions are valid. Your voice deserves to be heard, and your journey is just as important as your destination. Emotional intelligence isn't about being perfect. It's about being aware, being honest, and being willing to grow. Thank you guys for joining us all month long for Talk Tuesday. So stay strong, stay kind, and most of all, stay unapologetically you. We will see you guys the first week of October for our new topic for Talk Tuesday. Have a good night, y'all.